Um, Firstly, thank you very much for inviting us to be a part of the event, and we were really happy to see so much enthusiasm because all the teams, I think, had gone a long way. We learned that they had only 1 month to prepare, and most of them had done quite a lot out of what was expected in terms of costume, in terms of the set construction, and the scripts were good, and there was a lot of energy and interest that was taken, so that was appreciated. The comments that we have are basically general that go across the board, and it's mainly to help the teams to develop their skills, because I think there are lots of parallels in between being a Toastmaster as well as being an actor on stage, because it's all about presentation, it's all about captivating an audience, and it's all about actually demonstrating how well you are in persona, in charisma, and being memorable end of the day and entertaining. So, Shyam, you can start off with some general comments.
Okay, a couple of things. So the comments should be taken, I mean, as they are, because it's not a critique of any particular performance per se, but in general what we saw, and it's given in the sense of seeing improvement for the future. So a couple of things, and this we saw across the teams in the performances that we saw today. One thing which we spoke about was actually the interaction that each character would have with the other. So always when you are coming on stage, always think of yourself not in, say, the single person in terms of what is the role I am doing, but also how you relate or how you interact with the other people on stage. So what is your relationship with the other person? And it's not just you knowing that, the audience also needs to see that. So that interaction with one another is important, and that we didn't see across the teams today. Also in terms of emotion. So while it's good, yes, displaying emotion is important so that you get your message and what you're saying across to the audience. What is also important is finding that balance. What is the right level of emotion? So what we saw today across the teams was, in some instances, there were cases of either sort of display of over emotion, or in terms of taking it to extreme in a certain instances, as well as there were other times when maybe they could have displayed a little bit more emotion. So if it's a scene where you're extremely upset, then that needs to be displayed without overdoing it. So that was a couple of the things that we saw. I don't know, Shan can add maybe a couple of other things.
There was a lot of shuffling, just moving from place to place and for no reason. Usually you move on stage for a particular reason. If you're in character, you do something because the character, there's a purpose for it.
Don't just pace up and down unnecessarily.
Yeah, that was one of the main issues we saw. Everyone was just shuffling back and forth. And also there was a lot of blocking issues. So, for example, if an actor is in front of you, obviously he doesn't have eyes on his backside. So, you need to be able to move because you are blocking the person. So, those things are those are just basics when it comes to acting. But other than that, there were energy issues as well. Sometimes there was not enough energy. Energy meaning you don't overact, but of course you bring a certain level of energy when you come and perform on stage. It's all to do with confidence as well. That was one of the issues. Plus, there are some timing issues as well, but that of course comes. And also turning your, this was a mortal sin, turning your back to the audience.
Unless there's a specific reason for you to do it.
Yeah. So,
from my side, to those who wrote the plays, because that was part of what we judged on, we scored on originality. There were lots of original thoughts, but when you write something, especially, I think it kind of also lends itself to writing a speech in Toastmasters, that you need to find a topic or a subject matter that's relevant to your audience and something that you know that they will be interested in watching. Sometimes plays were written, I think, from the writer's personal perspectives or what they felt they liked, but it wasn't necessarily something that an audience is interested in watching. So then you have scripts that are a little boring, or scripts that are like just you don't feel like watching. And then when you write a play, keep in mind the time limit that you have. So if it's just for 15 minutes that you have to write a script, then it's better to write one scene, just one act, where you don't have to keep changing into several scenes and stopping, starting, because it kind of just becomes a bit of a clutter that way. So that's for the writing. In terms of plays where you have chosen maybe a certain time period, like for instance the All at Sea, or if you've chosen specific historical characters like the Heavenly Appraiser thing, where things like that, you do your research then in terms of how you want to costume it, how you want to interpret and present those characters. You need to do justice. If you have chosen that time period, it needs to look like it's that time period. You can't have one person in a period costume and one person in a completely modern costume. And if it's Ludwig van Beethoven that you're playing, then a little research would tell you Ludwig van Beethoven was deaf. So there's a huge opportunity in characterization that was lost because you didn't represent the character you're supposed to play. And I think a cardinal rule is, while you're on stage, don't lose focus and don't lose your character. So if the music doesn't come on, it's not for you to stop acting and then look at someone and say music.
Yeah.
You leave that to your backstage crew and your the guys who are supporting you. You should not lose focus at all.
Also, delivery of when you're talking, the delivery sometimes was monotonous. It was like sometimes it sounded like you were singing. So it had like a certain pattern to it. So don't get caught to that. That happens, and that just gives away the character, and it just gives away the entire performance. So if you're talking in la 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 la, it just gets monotonous. So it gets boring. So you need to differentiate it.
All in all, good effort. We know that I think 99% of those who acted today have not done this before, and they were all newcomers to theatre. So good job in that sense, because we've seen worse from people who have been in theatre, so don't worry. And pick up those little things like characterization, project your voice, show your face, charisma, personality, and I think you'll become a better presenter overall if you don't go into theatre as a day job.
And finally, just have fun. That's the whole point of it. Just relax and have fun. Just enjoy your. We saw one performance where we saw all the actors.
They were
you
very
could tell the
invested in
difference.
it. Yeah.
They were enjoying themselves. They were having fun. The audience was having fun, and the audience was reacting. That also gives a good feel-good factor for the actor while he's on stage. All of us. That's what we feed off and play. So we feed off the audience. As soon as they give us some feedback, if they laugh or something we do, you pick it up afterwards. So just have fun. Just go out there and just have fun on stage. That's it.
Everybody's a drama queen.
So to the finalists, all the best.
All the best.